Okay, it's time to cut. What? That's right. That's right.
Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your boy Mongo Slade, and I hope y'all are strapped in for a long ride. Because Royal Rumble 2020, we got a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss, and whoo boy. I'm glad I was right. I was right though. All right, so let's get right into it. From the kickoff show, they moved the women's tag team championships. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax actually won the titles back because Lacey Evans and Ric Flair interfered. Lacey Evans, I believe, with some brass knuckles, knocked Charlotte on her ass, and they lost. So, okay, Baszler and Jax won. Makes sense. Had to get the belts off Asuka and Charlotte. So, but I don't know. I mean, do anybody look? It's better for them not to be on Charlotte and Asuka. Asuka can go off doing something else. Not maybe now they're actually focused on her being the champion, and Charlotte can maybe focus on chasing the title or chasing Lacey Evans. We'll see how long they can get this Lacey Evans and Ric Flair thing to last. But I'm actually enjoying the Ric Flair Lacey Evans thing. You know, that's just me though. You know, I'm enjoying it. So it is what it is. But was it the right decision? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. These titles just, they're a big shrug, you know. I hate that Asuka had 2 belts and, you know, she did more losing than anything, but whatever. You know, it is what it is. Times are hard out here in these streets. We got to make new stars, I guess. So the first match on the official card was Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. The match that had everybody in a tizzy, that had everybody all upset, that the dirt sheets basically told you was going to be a quote-unquote scary or concerning finish to one of the matches. Everyone thought Goldberg was going to win. Goldberg did not win. Drew McIntyre won, as expected. The match also was not 2 minutes, as I said it would be. They actually worked a fairly decent match, and this match was actually fun. Why was this match fun? This match was fun because they actually told a not a decent story, but they actually told it was a drama. Let's put it like that. People were so scared of Goldberg winning that every near count, when he speared him through the barricade, the second spear, the third spear, the jackhammer, everything meant something. It meant something because you thought that Goldberg was going over. And there were so many people with so much fear that you have to focus, you have to use that as they were using that as far as the story is concerned. Drew wins the match with, I think, the second Claymore. But they told a decent story that Goldberg can actually plan. That he's not just a bulldozer. He can actually plan an assault, plan an attack. And it seemed like he actually planned to lure McIntyre outside the ring and spear him through the barricade and do all this type of stuff. And Goldberg didn't look too bad in this match, if we're being honest. But I had fun with it. It was one of the better Goldberg matches that we've had so far. I like that the referee even was like, even though it's kind of cliche, that the referee asked if you can continue. Like a babyface, of course, going to continue. But, you know, it was interesting. The post-match I found was very interesting, too, with Goldberg saying that Drew McIntyre passed and that he deserves respect. You know, he's the guy. And Goldberg has said in interviews that that's kind of his job. He's a gatekeeper now. And that's fine. You know, I think that's a pretty good space. People are still going to cringe every time he shows up. But I think this is a good test for Drew McIntyre to see if he can handle, you know, these kinds of situations where, you know, people are not going to necessarily be into it. But you have to, it's your job to get them into it. And I think he did it. You know, I think he succeeded in this situation. The next match was Sasha Banks versus Carmella. And Sasha Banks defeating Carmella, I should say. I have been very impressed with Carmella since she's returned. She has gotten actually so much better. Her offense is a lot more fluid. And I'm kind of on the ropes about Sasha Banks. Her promo before this match, when she started talking about, when she did that fake laugh, that horrible fake laugh, it is so phony and it's so witch-like. Like, it's almost heelish. and she says she's gonna drink Carmella's tears, and she's prepared for Carmella's tricks this time. And I was like, okay, all right, it would have made sense if she hadn't beat Carmella every time before this. But Reginald was being a distraction, of course. He about the second or third time he was a distraction, he got ejected from the ring. I like that Carmella argued with the referee about it. Uh, and the referee was like, he shouldn't be out here anyway. You don't need him. Carmella did a suicide dive in this match. That was absolutely breathtaking. And not necessarily for a good reason. I legit thought she had broken her neck. Sasha was in the wrong place. If you look at the suicide dive in this match again, Sasha was too close. And most of Carmella's body was Carmella's hips hit Sasha Banks in the cheek. And the rest of her body basically folded into the goddamn ground. I mean, it was very ugly. And I respect Carmella for getting up from that, because Sasha's taken some really ugly suicide bumps too. I like the finish. The finish was pretty cool. Carmella was winning, and then she was being a little bit lazy. She was trying to drag Sasha Banks with one arm, and upon dragging Sasha Banks with one arm, she left that that arm dangling, and Sasha Banks kind of hooked it into the bank statement, and Carmella tapped out. I was really interested, and I really enjoyed Carmella's performance in this match. Sasha Banks is Sasha Banks. She's a good performer in the ring. I'm beginning to concern myself with her character, which is a little cackly, and not really a fan of that. After this, we got a promo from Big E and Xavier Woods, when Big E was talking about Retribution beating Xavier Woods' ass, and he says that all they need is 60 minutes. Between the two of them, they just need 60 good minutes, and they could change their lives, and they could be blessed by the wrestling. He said we could etch our names next to the wrestling gods. And X was like, what? He's like, wrestling gods. And they kept going on. And then Sami Zayn shows up. And of course, he's, his conspiracy theory says that the wrestling gods gifted Big E with the IC title. And that, he's worried about the Raw guys. And he was surprised that he didn't get number 1 or number 2. But, he's not looking forward to the Royal Rumble and all that type of stuff. And then Kofi popped out of nowhere and scared the shit out of him. And then, of course, they went into the whole, if one of us win, we all win. And, of course, that led us to believe that Big E was going to win. Of course, he did not. All right, Bad Bunny did a performance, which is basically just a reenactment of the music video. If you've seen the music video for Booker T, that's basically what this performance was. So, the Women's Royal Rumble was actually good this year. I was actually okay with the Women's Rumble this year. It's like the first time I've actually was like, the Women's Rumble was really good. Number 1 was Bayley, who said she's going to challenge Michael Cole when she wins. Of course, she didn't win. Number 2 was Naomi. Great choice. I was glad to see Naomi. And that was fantastic. Number 3 was Bianca Belair. Number 4 was Billie Kay. Billie Kay had a running gag throughout the early part of the show of her trying to find partners to help her, because the first 3 women were laying into each other, something vicious, and she didn't want no part of that. So she was hanging out at the announce table, and when different people would come in, she would try to partner with them. So there was some really interesting stuff being done in this match up to this point. Bianca Belair did cartwheels while Naomi had her in a pile driver position, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy. And I think that Naomi last opponent was Bayley. I don't know if that's true or not, but they kept saying like they wrestled in August. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they didn't wrestle in August. I don't think Naomi wrestled at all during the pandemic. Last time I remember seeing Naomi was around right before WrestleMania, so it might have been Saudi Arabia. But then again, I watched so much wrestling, I could have just forgot that she was. But I don't think she performed at all in the pandemic, even though I think the pandemic is still technically going on. But Billie Kay was number 4. Shotzi Blackheart was number 5. Billie Kay she left the commentary booth to go and try to recruit Sashi Blackheart, and she almost got shot by Sashi's toy missile on her tank. And Sashi Blackheart was actually the first person eliminated, which sucks, because Shotzi is legitimately good, and they didn't keep her in the match that long. Shayna Baszler was number 6. Our Cherry Lip Paul Goddess Tony Storm was number 7. Jillian Hall was number 8. I would never even thought to bring back Jillian Hall. And they brought her back with the singing gimmick, which was absolutely ridiculous. And I had completely forgotten all about it. But I was glad to, it's always good to see somebody coming from the past to today. And so it was fun. And then Jillian Hall was actually the one that accepted Billie Kay's partnership, which of course killed my whole idea that they was trying to save this for when Peyton Royce came out. That would have been the natural thing to do, is to wait for Peyton Royce and then try to do the Iconics. But, whatever. Number 9 was Ruby Riott. And number 10 was Victoria. Wow. I have to tell you, I was like, oh. Like, I didn't recognize that particular theme. The other theme was the one that I liked when she was, oh God, I think it was her first theme. When she was Crazy Victoria. I really loved that theme. And that's the theme I thought they was going to play. So when they played her theme, I had no idea who it was. Like, who the fuck is that? But then, like, I remember, like, oh, they did change her theme a little bit later. But it was good to see Victoria. She actually came in and did pretty good, Of course, she's a little bit older, but I enjoyed that she came in and was sort of dominating, and, it was really good. Billie Kay and Jillian Hall was in there dominating, and out of nowhere, Billie Kay was trying to get Jillian Hall to help Ruby Riott. Like, she's still trying to befriend Ruby Riott. And I kind of like that it was that continuity. So number 11 was Peyton Royce, who took forever to get to the ring, apparently. Now, Peyton Royce, of course, and Billie Kay was actually beating up on somebody together. And Peyton Royce was kind of like trying to do the Iconics thing, and Billie Kay looked at Ruby Riott and kind of looked away. Like, she was trying to impress Ruby Riott. So she didn't want to do the Iconics thing. And I hated that. That really was heart-wrenching. Like, legit, that was, like, bothersome. That, because I know they really teased the Iconics were coming back, and then they didn't do it. So it was all right. Number 12 was Santana Garrett, who doesn't even show up on NXT. So obviously she's taking somebody's spot. Santana Garrett she didn't look bad though. She actually did pretty good. Number 13 was Liv Morgan. Number 14 was Rhea Ripley, and business picked up. Rhea Ripley did great in this match. Rhea Ripley was fan-fucking-tastic in this match. She eliminated Toni Storm, Santana Garrett, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, Dakota Kai, Rhea Ripley, and was the last person in the match. She was in this. She really put in work. Rhea Ripley was not left behind in this situation here. And she has pretty much, if they decide to bring her up, I think her running the Rumble probably would have been the best choice. But she was excellent here. Number 15 was Charlotte, who was basically here until the end. So Charlotte, of course, was good. Charlotte is always good. And I like that her and Rhea Ripley finished, they went back to finish their plate from what they was dealing with earlier last year. So they kind of went right back at each other. Number 16 was Dana Brooke. Number 17 was Tori Wilson, which, Tori Wilson isn't that much of a surprise because she was in the first Royal Rumble. Ruby Riott got powerbombed on the floor by Bayley, and that was her elimination. Peyton Royce was kind of there too, and that looked ugly, and it looked like it hurt. It really looked like it hurt, and I was like, yikes. Dana Brooke also did a swanton onto a pile of people. Then she also got powerbombed on the ring apron. That also looked like it hurt. Anything on the ring apron actually looks like it hurt really bad. Number 18 was Lacey Evans, who came in. Well, first they played Ric Flair's theme song, and then it was Lacey Evans. Then it was Lacey Evans. Then when Lacey Evans came in, Charlotte tried to get everybody to sort of separate, kind of leave the space open for her and Lacey. I don't think anybody kind of got the picture, but people did kind of hug corners a little bit. But Lacey took forever to get in the ring. And she was wearing one of the Ric Flair's robes or whatever. It was really fun because Lacey didn't really do that much in this match, but she did enough to really get herself over in this situation. So it was fun. Charlotte was beating the shit out of Lacey Evans, trying to strip the robe from her. Eventually, she got her out of it. Bayley was out by Bianca Belair about 30 minutes in, which was a crying shame. Mickie James was number 19. Nikki Cross was number 20. Alicia Fox, who was apparently a legend, came in at number 21. So Nikki Cross fell off a cliff. Like, the moment they changed Nikki Cross's theme song, she basically evaporated. Like, poof. Like, the moment Alexa Bliss became part of the Fiend storyline and they changed Nikki Cross's theme song, even though she got in much better shape, they basically, poofed her out of this entire thing. But Nikki Cross is good. Alicia Fox actually won the 24/7 title because R-Truth came in and said he was in the wrong match. And he brought a train of weirdos with him, the people who are always chasing the 24/7 title. And it gave Alicia Fox something to do for how long she was in the match. She wasn't in the match that long. She was probably in the match about 2 minutes, which is how long she was the 24/7 champ. Mandy Rose was 22. Dakota Kai was 23. Carmella came out at number 24. I actually don't mind when people do double duty. I know some people have a problem with that when somebody gets a title shot or something like that and then they wrestle in the Royal Rumble. I really don't have a problem with that. It actually makes sense, and especially in this situation where they obviously didn't have enough women. Of course, they could have used more NXT women, but, I think they just kind of wanted to do a limit that sort of thing. I like that Mickie James and Charlotte had a really good exchange in this match. And Charlotte was becoming a little bit more heelish. Like, she was very aggressive and kind of nasty at some points in the match. Dakota Kai, when she came in, her and Rhea Ripley had a pretty good exchange. She wasn't in long, of course, but she got locked out. I was kind of surprised that they didn't put Raquel Gonzalez in here. I don't understand the point of putting Dakota Kai in there if you're not going to put Raquel Gonzalez in there. So where did I start? Number 24 is Carmella. Number 25 was Tamina. Number 26 was Lana. And I actually did believe for a moment that Lana might have a chance. We'll talk about that in a minute. Number 27 was Alexa Bliss, the Alexa's Playground Alexa Bliss. And this was interesting because Alexa Bliss wasn't in the match long. But she was very happy and, clapping and stuff like that. And she ended up getting jumped by the entire field. Like, everybody jumped her. And then she was about to transform and do her, camera magic thing. And then she got thrown out by Rhea Ripley. So maybe they're going to bring Rhea Ripley into that storyline. I know I said before that it's foolish to do whole storylines about people throwing you out of the Royal Rumble. But it makes sense in this situation because you need to do something with Rhea Ripley. And maybe, the title picture is not for her. I don't know. But I also enjoyed the Tamina exchange with Rhea Ripley. Like, that stuff looked intense. Like, those are two big women, and Tamina's a little bit older, but it looked pretty intense when they was in there. I really enjoyed that. I like that Lana, she had a very serious look to her. Very serious. Like, she was actually about to do something, and she really did nothing. She went in there, and she tried to eliminate Rhea Ripley, and then she just immediately hugged the corner and tried not to die. Number 28 was Ember Moon, who did really good in this match too. Nia Jax was number 29. Of course, Natalya was 30. So this match was solid. I like that Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler decided to, once they linked up, that it was pretty much over for everybody. I like that Naomi and Bianca Belair was going back and forth in this match. They were helping each other 1 minute, trying to eliminate each other the next. So that shows that, they had some conception of every man for themselves, but at the same time they were, I guess you could say looking out for each other, even though I don't know why they would do that. But Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the combination of them, eliminated Lacey Evans, Ember Moon, Naomi, and Tamina. Nia Jax wanted to spare Tamina. Like, when they went on their tear, they were beating people up. And Nia Jax was like, no, not Tamina. Tamina's family. And then Shayna was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then later they ended up jumping her. They ended up jumping her anyway. So they ended up fighting Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. The teams always break down before they get to the they get to the end, and Nia Jax ended up eliminating Shayna Baszler, and while she wasn't paying attention, and then Lana tried to eliminate Nia Jax, of course, to no avail, and then Nia Jax saw red, which is Lana. It's like she's chased her like what was that? Baby D was chasing that cookie from Friday. Was it next Friday? When she was chasing that dude around that car. And Lana, she chased Lana, and then Lana just pulled the rope down on her one time, and Nia Jax went over the top rope. And then Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, even though Shayna Baszler got eliminated by Nia Jax, they linked up again, which was real strange. Like they weren't even mad at each other. Well, Shayna Baszler wasn't even mad at Nia Jax for throwing her out. And then they went back in the ring and beat down Lana and beat up the rest of the field. Afterwards, Natalya really kind of was trying to show some concern for Lana, like she cared. And then, of course, she turned on her later and ended up eliminating her. So I think our final four was Natalya, Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair, which was this was a solid final four. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair attacked Charlotte once Natalya was out. And they failed to eliminate her. Like they really focused on getting rid of Charlotte. So Charlotte and Rhea Ripley was tangling, and then Bianca helped Rhea Ripley get Charlotte out, which left Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair in a duel, which was really good. Now, how we got started was kind of weird. They was both sitting on the apron, and they kind of agreed to get back in the ring and finish it toe to toe, which is cool, I guess. And they had a normal, probably about 4 or 5 minutes back and forth between the two of them. Really solid stuff before Bianca Belair eliminated Rhea Ripley, and the right decision was made. Bianca Belair won the match. 56 minutes, 49 seconds. She came in at number 3, and she was crying the entire time. She was so happy. She looked legitimately happy, and I can't be mad at that. She cut the promo afterwards where she basically was like, "Mama, Daddy, husband, tears, I did it." It was a really great emotional babyface promo, and she's gonna be a star, dog. Like Bianca is gonna be the one. She's gonna be it. They would have to botch it pretty hard. Like it got off to a rough start. Let's be honest. It got off to a rough start with Bianca Belair. But the idea of where they at now with her, excellent. Excellent stuff with Bianca Belair. She looks strong. She looks legit. She's agile. Her technical skills are a little weird. She does look a little spotty from time to time, like she's waiting for something to happen that's supposed to happen. But she looks good. She looks really good. She sounds good. She looks legit. She's gonna be a star. She's the one. Naomi was the Iron Woman. The Iron Woman. She was in there for 47 minutes. She was in there for number 2. Of course, Bianca was in there longer because she actually won the match. But the next person who was in the match longer, the next person was Naomi. And Naomi was fantastic. And, man, I really hope that they do something with Naomi. They got a real chance with Naomi. Now, I guess the question would be, should they sign Victoria? That's a question I kind of want to just talk about. I don't want to, since I got y'all's attention, if you this far into the video already, we might as well keep going, right? Victoria's a little bit older, and I think they kind of figure Mickie James is kind of old too, and I think she's about the same age as Mickie James, if not older. I think people like Victoria, but I don't know if and I think she can hang with the young girls, but I think she'd probably be, I don't know if it was just like a fun thing to do rather than keeping her around, it might've just been a fun thing to do. So, but I wouldn't mind if she stuck around, and got another run out of it. Why not? It shouldn't be no problem out of me. I don't mind them bringing back older people because it only helps the younger people. They need more people to talk to, more people to learn from. Everybody's learning from the same teachers in the PC, right? Everybody kind of needs their own individual classes. That's something you learn from the educational establishment. that, 40 kids in a classroom learning from one person, there's a lot of people who's not really going to learn. But if you have individualized teachers or a smaller groups, then it's a lot easier. If you can get some of the older women like Mickie James and Victoria to be in the locker room more often, then that's different from, learning from all of the guys in the PC, because, that's everybody, but this is specifically for y'all, specifically for the women and stuff like that. So, but I wouldn't mind it, but they might not just want to do that, but who knows? And I'm not too keen on the idea of keeping around Jillian Hall, though. I mean, we don't really need that. Even though I think the probably singing gimmick probably really annoyed the shit out of people, like it did in the past. Afterwards, we got a Bad Bunny, Miz, and John Morrison segment where the Miz wanted to collab with Bad Bunny, and Bad Bunny was like, no. And then the Miz started really running down Booker T, saying like, you want to make songs about this has-been Booker T? And around this time, this was like a long break between the Rumble and the next match, and I didn't actually see Peter Rosenberg win the 24/7 title, but I had my speakers on, and I heard about it, and I was in no rush to see what happened after that, if we're being honest. So Peter Rosenberg won the 24/7 title, which is Mage, right? Or Mage of Jace. How does that go? I used to listen to the Cheap Heat podcast, so I know his language. It's just one of the many wrestling podcasts I got tired of listening to, because I do listen to quite a few of them. I did anyway. And then I listened to them for like maybe 5 or 6 months, and then I'm like, I turn off. Okay, the next match was Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, in which Roman Reigns ran this motherfucker over. He ran him over. Let's just skip through the rest of the shit. He ran this man over with a golf cart, and it sounded like a car crash. It sounded ugly, looked bad, and I was sitting here thinking to myself, he's going to get up. And sure as hell he did. And I was like, wow. It came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. Like, they were in the backstage area, and I was looking to see what was backstage. Like, I saw the workout ring. I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, what's all this stuff in here? I'm like, what the fuck is that? Because the cameraman got caught up in it too. I'm like, what was that? And then I see the golf cart, and I see Roman like backing up in the golf cart. And I was like, oh, hell no. He ran this man over. he ran this man over. Like, wow. I like this match though. I mean, it was silly. It was a silly amount of violence. But I like this match. Also, the handcuffs. The handcuff spot. Jesus. They should get ringed for the handcuff spot. I don't know who you blame for it. Do you blame Heyman for being slow? Do you blame the referee? The ref should count through. But what you gonna do? You gonna give the title to Kevin Owens? Is that what you're gonna do? In the year of our Lord 2021, at this Royal Rumble, in this economy, you gonna give the title to Kevin Owens because somebody's botching? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Referees, you have to be on both feet. Roman's not on any feet, and the ref just stopped counting, and the camera cut away. The camera was like, I can almost hear Vince like, cut away, damn it! Like, I can't hear the count. Like, the count stops because you cut away. Clearly, the ref should still be counting because Roman is not standing up. Clearly, but. Those are just two of the big spots. Now, before we get to before the handcuffs and all that type of stuff, Kevin Owens jumped off of a forklift. A damn spot. That spot was damned from the beginning. I was like, oh my God. Roman is laid out on the table, and he lifts the forklift. Now, I thought he was going to pull a Mankind and The Rock, and he was going to crush him with the forklift and hold him down, which probably would have been smarter, if you're being honest. But him climbing the forklift and jumping off of it was nuts. That was nuts. That was a nutty spot. And Kevin Owens is indie as fuck for doing it, which is not a surprise. It's not a surprise that he would do that. And that's not the first time. That wasn't the first jump he did in that match. He also fell off of the LED boards through the equipment table, which was also nuts. Like, there was Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote levels of violence in this match. But it was still dope. It was still dope. Because I like the trash talk. You know, Roman was basically saying, like, he's trying to smarten him up because his daddy didn't do it. And Kevin Owens fires up, you know, talking about his grandfathers are better men than Roman will ever be. When Roman started to bleed, they didn't show too much of the blood. I don't know where he was bleeding from. But, you know, Kevin Owens was like, whose blood is this? It's not mine. This is bloodline blood. This is tribal blood. So the finish was around. Now, this was a great spot, the handcuff spot. It was very smart. Kevin Owens, like, Roman's got the, you know, he's already speared Owens through the LED boards, through the screen, through the Tron. And he would manage to save himself by rolling to the floor and feet first to the floor. And so Roman is like trash talking him, like, I can't go home if I lose. I can't go home if I give up. You know, I can't go home. You know, so, you know, that's why I can't quit. And so he's got these handcuffs. He's going to handcuff Kevin Owens. And then, of course, Kevin Owens fights him off reverse. It handcuffs him to the light fixture. I don't know if they used 2 pair of handcuffs or if it was 1 pair of handcuffs. I'm pretty sure it was 2 pair because Roman had one hand free and was up on 1 foot. And his arm was still stuck. And I love that when Roman was caught initially and it got to 9 and he pulled the referee into the steel thing and knocked him out. That was great. That was really smart, very aware stuff. You know, I like that they really that was really clever. I like that they think about stuff like that. That there's ways around everything. But I think at that point they should have been trying to get the handcuffs off. You know, and that probably would have not taken so long. Because once the new ref came in, it took him like 40 seconds to get the handcuffs off. So he kind of blew it. And then the finish was basically Kevin Owens got choked out by a guillotine choke. I mean, after you ran him over with a golf cart, threw him off of a high place, he jumped off of a higher place than he actually got thrown off of. Multiple things with chairs and steps and various other weapons. A simple guillotine choke. That's all it took. Kind of like we should have just did that from the beginning and saved ourselves some time. But whatever. This match was still pretty good. You know, I know I'm maybe I'm being extra critical because I don't like Kevin Owens. But I'm actually beginning to like him a little bit more. This he seems to have something to fight for. Roman beat him now, officially just beat him. So I don't know what you do with Kevin Owens now. You can't give him a rematch because this was sort of this match has some finality to it. There was no Jimmy Uso, no Jey Uso, nobody helped. So I don't see how you can justify giving Kevin Owens a rematch. Therefore, I don't see Roman really getting his comeuppance for the things that he said about Kevin Owens, unless Kevin Owens cost him the title, which is entirely possible. Any attitude era, that's kind of how they would have done it. You know, maybe you win the feud, maybe you win the match or whatever, but I'm going to cost you the title. I don't think they would do that now. I think Roman is a little too strong. So this match was pretty good. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I don't rate matches. I just say whether it's good or thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. This is a thumbs up. I would definitely watch this again. You know, this is fun. So the 30-man over the top rope Royal Rumble, which was won by Edge. Oh boy. Now I can tell a lot of people probably had feelings about the whole Edge winning the Royal Rumble thing. I guessed he was going to win. So I don't really have that many deep feelings about it. I pretty much talked about this in my analysis video. When he first announced he was going to be in the Royal Rumble. I talked about it again in my prediction video. Pretty much thought that Edge was going to win once he mentioned his dead mama. You know, once he mentioned that his mama told him to go do it, and his mama would say, go get it. I was like, that's it. That's a babyface promo. He mentioned his dead mama. He's going to win. And he did. So anybody who thought otherwise, sorry. But Babyface mentions his dead parents. Yeah, he's going to win. So Edge and Randy Orton start the match. There was no mask for Randy Orton, which was greatly disappointing because I really wanted to see the masked assassin Randy Orton. That would have been great. Edge basically destroyed Randy Orton early. Just beat the hell out of him. And I like that they sort of tried to put a bow on this thing because they couldn't get a third match out of it. Even though there were some rumors that Edge and Randy Orton probably gonna have wrestle at WrestleMania again. Who knows what might happen? But of course, since they weren't going to be able to get another match out of it, they decided to finish it up in the Rumble, and they did a good job. Like the Edge Randy Orton stuff was really tight, except for Randy Orton taking that hour-long nap. But this was really tight, and I hate the naps. If I had to complain about something, every Rumble, I just hate when people disappear. I hate that, and then I hate when the commentators try their best not to mention the guy. Like, when they kept talking about the Final Four, I mean, I know we'll get there in a moment because I'm going to go through the match in detail. But I was just kind of, when they kept saying, it's the Final Four, like, Randy Orton is still out there. Like, you're not fooling me. We know Randy is coming back. So stop taking guys out of this match. If anything, it would have probably been better off for Randy to never show. For, Randy to skip coming out, and for, his music to play, and then for it to be nothing. And then the countdown comes, and then Sami Zayn comes out. That probably would have been better. But, of course, we got Edge, the Impaler on the announce table, and him bashing Randy in the leg with a chair, which was all cool. But then they gave Randy an excuse to be gone for an hour and not to do any work. But Sami Zayn was number 3. I like that Sami Zayn came in and helped Randy Orton. And then number 4 is Mustafa Ali. And he also came in and helped Randy Orton. Everybody was beating up Edge, which was great. And they all had their own individual reasons for beating up Edge. Sami Zayn is a conspiracy theorist who, thinks that he's being screwed all the time. And he blames everybody for being screwed. And he's been talking about how it's been weird having the Raw guys around. Mustafa Ali hates legends. And Ali was basically, during his, attack of Edge, was kept saying, like, you think you could take my spot? You think you could take my spot? And then Jeff Hardy came in. He wasn't in the match long at all, which is real sad. I love Jeff. They don't seem to care about him. I like that Randy Orton and Sami Zayn were best buds for a while. And they were really hype over beating up Edge. They were really hype about beating up Edge. And then Randy Orton hit the RKOs. He RKO'd Zayn, RKO'd Ali, RKO'd Hardy. And then he got impaler on the announce table and hit with a chair and got taken out. Number 5 was Jeff Hardy. Number 6 was Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler actually was in this match for a pretty long time, but he was basically invisible. Like, he only really showed up during work rate stuff. Shinsuke Nakamura looked awesome. He came out with no bodysuit this time. He was actually in shape. And Shinsuke Nakamura came in at number 7. He looked good. He looked great. That's what everybody wanted from Shinsuke. He looked great. He was cut. Speaking of cut, Carlito comes in looking like fucking Lashley. Carlito came in and he looked like he was cut from granite. He looked like a fucking star. And he was still athletic. The guy is only 40. He's like 41, 42, something like that. I don't see why not. I say you give him a contract. I say give him the contract. Put him on SmackDown. Why not? Carlito looked great. He was jacked to the gills, dog. He probably not going to pass the tests, if we being honest. Because Puerto Rico is kind of Wild West. It looks like it. But dude looks great. He looked phenomenal. Carlito looks like, a main event guy. I like that he did a little stare down with Nakamura. When Nakamura was kind of like about to bite his apple and, it didn't work. Xavier Woods is number 9. And Xavier Woods went immediately after Ali. And then he got blindsided by Sami Zayn, which of course is a bridge to the Ali, to the Sami Zayn Big E story. And Ali trash talking Kofi while they was out there. Then Big E came in at number 10. I was kind of I was kind of worried about Big E right here because I was like, oh, he came in at number 10. Probably not going to win. I never even heard anybody trying to win from the 10 position. So of course, Big E came in and targeted Sammy, and took down Ali too. They did some double team stuff, him and Xavier Woods. I thought it was really fun. They actually did some. There was a lot of tag team stuff in here. Edge and Christian, the New Day. There was some really good stuff that was going on in here. I can't wait to get to talk about Christian. I can't wait. Number 11 is John Morrison. John Morrison came in at number 11. Number 12 was Ricochet. To let you know that somebody got the Rona, Ricochet was in this match. Remember, Ricochet lost to AJ Styles. He wasn't supposed to be in this match. So, Ricochet got somebody's spot. Which is fine. I'm cool with Ricochet. Ricochet did some really good stuff. He has good offense. He's just, I don't know, he just have a problem with his charisma. Mustafa Ali eliminated Xavier Woods, which made Big E very unhappy. And he eliminated Ali. I was kind of upset that the rest of Retribution didn't come out there to help. I know, like, with the Rona, you can't really do a lot. You have to limit the amount of people who are involved. But it sounded like it could have been really fun to have Retribution out there, to keep him in this match. Number 13 was Elias. Number 14 was Damian Priest, which was awesome. We got to see Damian Priest do some really good stuff in here, even though I don't think he was my Rumble MVP. He was very good. Damian Priest got in there and really tangled with some guys. Number 15 was The Miz. And The Miz went over to the Bad Bunny DJ area with his Money in the Bank and destroyed everything. Just bashed everything with his Money in the Bank briefcase because Bad Bunny told him he didn't want to collaborate with him, so he has to go break his stuff. Classic heel shit. I guess The Miz had to get some shit in somehow in this match. And this, of course, brought out Bad Bunny later. As Bad Bunny, him yelling at The Miz, kind of distracted him and John Morrison, and it allowed Damian Priest to eliminate both of them. And then Bad Bunny did a flying crossbody from the top rope, was it? Across Miz and Morrison. And I was like, wow. Just wow. It was silly. It was real silly. And it wasn't dog shit either. And kudos to Miz and Morrison for actually catching them, because The Miz is not the best when it comes to catching people who come flying at him. But he actually caught him. So I was really, really glad. Number 16 was Riddle. Let me tell you about Riddle. Riddle cleaned up in this match. They showcased the fuck out of Riddle. Riddle got into street fights with everybody in this match. Okay. Riddle went in there like Ryu from Street Fighter and just went in there and just started boxing everybody up. It didn't matter who it was. The stuff with him and Daniel Bryan, phenomenal shit. Straight up amazing, phenomenal shit. They were in there laying the fucking leather. I fucking love this stuff. I loved it. And Daniel Bryan was number 17. And these two guys hooked up probably 3 or 4 times in this match, where they just decided to take the center of the ring and do all kinds of stuff. But Riddle didn't just limit putting the beats to Daniel Bryan. He put the beats to Nakamura. He put the beats to Lashley. He put the beats on everybody. Riddle was fucking amazing. He was really good in this match. If Riddle had not got into that trouble, I think we'd be looking at him probably winning this Rumble. They really like Riddle. And they really are showcasing the fuck out of him. Riddle looked like a badass in this match. It was really good. And I can't wait to talk about some more of this stuff later. I got it written down. I don't have it in my memory. Kane was number 18, so somebody got the Rona. So Kane, of course, came in. He did a little bit of stuff. He didn't do a lot. But, he chokeslammed Edge and Nakamura and Dolph. And he eliminated Ricochet, which probably wasn't fun for Ricochet. But Daniel Bryan also did some fun stuff for Ricochet. Ricochet didn't just come in and lay down. He was doing some stuff. He came in doing some. He did a lot of the flippity-doo, flashy offense that he usually does. He needs to add some substance to his offense, like up his striking game or utilize better technical skills. Like, I know that high flying is sort of his thing, but he needs to diversify a little bit. But they did the Team Hell No spot where Bryan and Kane hugged, and then, Bryan chokeslammed Kane. That would have been weird. That actually might have been fun if Daniel Bryan would have chokeslammed Kane. What I mean is Daniel Bryan got chokeslammed by Kane. The Kane chokeslam on Nakamura was trash. I don't think Nakamura really put the effort in on that chokeslam. It was trash. I like the Damian Priest Kane mix up. They did some really good strikes from each other, and then he actually eliminated Kane, which was really cool too. I really enjoyed that stuff. Number 19 was King Corbin. Number 20 was Otis. Number 21 was Dominic Mysterio. And, Otis came in and pretty much, suplexed everybody, threw everybody around. He wasn't in the match long either. I think the bloom is off the rose for Otis. Like, they're not burying him. They're just putting him on the back burner. He's been on the back burner for several months. They haven't put the kibosh on him where he's out there losing in 2 minutes to anybody yet. But he's obviously not that important, so they got him out of there. King Corbin actually did some pretty good stuff in this match. He beat the shit out of Dominic again. He eliminated Nakamura, which was disappointing because Nakamura was legitimately looking really good and was in great shape. But he eliminated Otis as well. Baron Corbin did, and Corbin kicked Dominic Mysterio's ass. And Dominic Mysterio really didn't even get that much offense in on him. But Dominic Mysterio did get his own comeuppance by eliminating Baron Corbin a little bit later, which was really good. That was really awesome stuff. Number 22 was the CEO of the Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley. Number 23 was the Hurricane. I was like, wow. Hurricane did his chokeslam spot. He's going to chokeslam Big E and Lashley at the same time. And, of course, they threw him out because, it looked like it hurt when he got eliminated, too, by the way, because he felt like on his tailbone. Number 24 was Christian. Good Lord, bro. I don't know. I don't mark out a lot. It's kind of hard to get me to mark out. But Christian got me. I wasn't, like, squealing and jumping up and down and stuff like that. But my eyes did get very large because I was like, what? I thought Christian just physically could not go anymore, because they wasn't even letting him take bumps in 2020. And that wasn't that long ago. It was literally 32 days ago. They would not let Christian take bumps. And here he was in this match, kicking ass, ruling. Christian looked good as ever, and he was jacked. Everybody who came in this match over the age of 40 was jacked. Okay, everybody. Everybody looked better than ever. What the hell? Like you got, it was crazy. Everybody came in awesome shape. It almost looked like they had digitized some of these bodies. I'm like, what the fuck? This is the good shape Rumble. Everybody came in this match in great shape. But Lashley did some really good stuff in here too. They told some really good stories in here, man, with Lashley. Lashley and Damian Priest. They made me want to see that match. And they did some really good stuff too. And Lashley eliminated Damian Priest. The Lashley Big E stuff. That sounds like Money in the Bank. The way they was looking at each other, the way Big E kind of wanted it, like, yeah, like, yeah, that was Money in the Bank too, dog. Like, that was some really good shit. And then Lashley ended up getting eliminated because they did the Big Show spot where, like, 4 guys, like, what was it? Big E, Riddle, Daniel Bryan, and Christian ganged up to eliminate Lashley. I was kind of upset no other members of the Hurt Business was in this match. No Cedric Alexander, no Shelton Benjamin. Okay. I would have put Cedric Alexander in this match. Maybe instead of Hurricane. Not that I don't like the Hurricane. It's just I think it would have been better to have Lashley have some backup. And you could have told a different story with maybe Cedric Alexander trying to eliminate Lashley. Or, Cedric Alexander continues to go rogue and do his own thing. It was at this point, like, Christian had been in the match for a little bit before him and Edge finally kind of hooked up and was like best buds and hugging and stuff. And then Riddle tried to get in on it because, he's a goof, and they ended up beating him up. Number 25 was AJ Styles. Number 26 was Rey Mysterio. And when Rey Mysterio came in, Michael Cole ran off a commercial for Cerveza beer. It took him all of 10. He had to have practiced that in the mirror, because he did that almost flawlessly and almost in one breath. It was a completely one take live thing with Cerveza beer. And I was just like, whoa. Like, he literally, during Rey Mysterio's entrance, like, Rey had barely made contact with anybody, and the commercial was over. Like, he took a sidebar to do this commercial for beer and then jump back into the match. I was like, that's crazy. No wonder Jim Ross says Michael Cole does a different job than he does. I never heard Jim Ross do no shit like that. But I like the AJ Styles and Edge stuff where Styles got speared again. Number 27 was Sheamus. Good spot for him. Number 28 was Cesaro. Number 29 was Seth Rollins. Number 30 was Braun Strowman. I love Seth Rollins. They brought Seth Rollins back as a heel, so they're continuing the Monday Night Messiah. All right, or the Friday Night Messiah now. Okay, I'm okay with that. Sheamus beat the hell out of Riddle and Edge with the 10 beats of the Bowery. Almost really got involved in this match, because Almost is the one who pulled out Big E. And that was very, very interesting. That was very, very interesting. What makes it even more interesting is that they can't get comeuppance because Almost is on Raw. So, Almost is the reason Big E lost. He's also the reason Rey Mysterio lost. He protected AJ Styles before AJ Styles got eliminated by Braun Strowman. And which was a very smart way that they did it, by having Braun throw him out one way and almost caught him, and then he put him back in the ring. And then later Braun acted like he's going to throw him the same way towards Almost. He threw him another way and eliminated him. But Big E lost, and he was visibly upset at getting thrown out. And he jumped up and almost face smushed him over the announce table. And I was like, there's levels to this thing called big. Like, you're Big E, but that's a big guy. Almost is a big guy. I don't know about, like, maybe things will have to change if he has to run or something like that, but that's a big guy. So my question is now, what are they going to do now that they have Almost as a guy who's physically getting involved now? Now he's not just being physically intimidating. He's now touching people, now Big E kind of just had to take it on the chin because, again, Almost is on Raw. So what do you do? I don't know. I don't know what you do. But I know a lot of people was heartbroken that Big E lost. When he came in at number 10, I kind of figured he was going to lose. It was really unfortunate. If you had Big E in your Royal Rumble pool, I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's continue through this match. Cesaro and Sheamus ran into each other. They actually bumped knuckles because, the bar. And then they started fighting while Cesaro turned on him almost immediately. The Rollins-Cesaro stuff made me want to see that match. And they're both heels. So I don't know how we're going to get it, but they need to get it somehow. They need to get that match to happen. And Riddle and Bryan. Every time they came within anywhere near each other, it was violence. I know I probably keep talking about that because I wrote it down like 4 times. Riddle and Bryan equals violence. I wrote it's just tearing into each other. So the final 4 was Rollins, Edge, Christian, and Braun Strowman. Riddle and Rollins got into it. This was really good too. This was really good specifically because I know that for a long time Rollins didn't like Matt Riddle. So I was kind of like, okay, Rollins is working with Riddle. That's weird, but Riddle was in there fighting everybody, dog. He was in fight everybody mode. And Riddle actually got eliminated by Rollins by when he got stomped on the ring apron, which was ugly. That was ugly. So the final four was Rollins, Edge, Christian, and Strowman. And Rollins tried to team up with Strowman, saying that, we're the future. These guys are the past. We're just going to get rid of these guys. And then, of course, Strowman didn't buy into it, threw him all over the place. And then Edge and Christian tried to jump all over Strowman. And Edge, kind of got Braun Strowman in a guillotine. And while he had him on the guillotine, Christian sort of helped. And then, Edge eliminated Rollins. And he got an RKO for his trouble. Edge and Rollins were the last two. Rollins got eliminated. Then he turned around. Boom. Like, they didn't ring the bell to fuck with us. Like, once Rollins was out, I guess Orton was in the ring by then. He turned around right into an RKO. And then he eliminated. He didn't even really sell it because it was like, boom, RKO. Then he pulled him up. And then as he tried to throw him out, Edge just countered it and threw him out. And I was like, okay, well, there that goes. Edge is the winner. 58 minutes for Edge, or 58 minutes plus. He worked the entire match, went from bell to bell. He actually earned it. He didn't come in at number 30 or number 28 or nothing like that. He came in at number 1. So it is what it is. Now, the question is, where do they go with this? Where do you go? Do you go with Edge versus McIntyre or Edge versus Roman? I even wrote down Edge versus Balor. Not likely. Doubtful. Highly doubtful. But I think that they're probably going to go with Edge versus McIntyre. And I think that was the goal of the whole Goldberg thing, is they were trying to set him up for. And a lot of people was like, Goldberg is going to win the Rumble. I was like, maybe. It would have been fun if Goldberg would have got in it, though. He could have took Kane's spot. Could have came in there and speared some guys and got thrown out. But I really am okay with Edge winning. I know that sometimes they say you're supposed to invest in the future. And I say this is an investment in the future. Edge is likely not going to win the title. I just don't see that happening. So what I see is Edge challenging. They probably going to milk this thing. Well, if it would make sense for them to milk it and say that, maybe have some guys, Roman say Edge don't want none of this, or McIntyre saying it would be an honor for us to fight you or something like that. But I think ultimately we're probably going to end up getting McIntyre and Roman. McIntyre and Edge, rather. And that's a fine match for McIntyre. I think that's what the Goldberg thing was supposed to set up. That McIntyre is on their level. He's on the level of the legends. And that he's a guy willing that they can carry the company going forward. I think that was the goal of this whole ordeal. And I'm okay with that. I don't think Edge is actually going to win the title. I think Edge is just there to sell tickets. So anybody who thinks like, if Edge actually wins the title, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be that mad. Because it's all just an investment into the future. He's going to drop the belt to somebody younger. So it's all that, Sometimes you have to build the older guy up before you can feed him to a younger guy, And right now, Edge has only been working with Randy Orton. Now he gets to work with somebody else, somebody he actually never really worked with before, not on a main event scale, which is Drew McIntyre or Roman Reigns, who is somebody he's never worked with at all. I don't even think Edge and Randy Orton Edge and Roman Reigns would have even bumped shoulders in a match before. I don't even see where they would have. So I think Edge was already retired when the Shield came up. So, and there's likely to be some McIntyre Edge match from SmackDown or something somewhere on the network. But I'm interested in this. Let me know what you guys think. Use the three count commentaries to spread the word of 3 count commentaries. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. I thank you guys again, and I'll talk to you guys later. Tell me what you thought of the Royal Rumble. Peace.
Yeah.